Chicago Wednesday on NBC.
Right after the game, the Volkswagen post-game report. Michelle, as always, on the field with the stars of the game. Mike, Tony, and Rodney wrap it up. And Chris and I will do a final wrap-up on the post-game show. Second down and 4. Handed off to Breida, who gets taken down a little shy of the 50-yard line. And the Vikings will take a timeout. Kind of funny, the last 5 games this season for Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers. Boy, oh boy, you look at this. Against the Ravens, went down to the end. Against the Saints, went down to the end. Against the Falcons, went down to the last 9 seconds. Against the Rams, right down to the end. Against the Seahawks, you all know what happened there at the end of the game. So every one of them, a total sweat job and a little bit of a breather, as much as you can have a breather in a playoff game for him this afternoon.
Dre Greenlaw was within a breath of giving up that touchdown in Seattle, but instead they are now 1 win at home away from going to the Super Bowl.
And we've talked about it. We've talked about it during that game and tonight as well on a 3rd and 2. And Breida will get stopped a little short of the first down, so the Vikings can use another timeout. So this is the play at the end of the Seattle game on Sunday Night Football 2 weeks ago. If Hollister gets into the end zone, the Seahawks are the number 3 seed and would have played a wild card game at home last week instead of in Philadelphia. The 49ers would have been the 5 seed. They would have gone to Philadelphia, and had they won there, probably on to Green Bay, and then on the road for the championship game in all likelihood. Instead, because of that, they're number 1. Got a week off, 2 home games.
And New Orleans would have had a bye, so they wouldn't have lost last week. So, you know, who knows? It's the whole thing was turned upside down by a whisper, by less than a yard with that tackle. And the great thing about it, it was a clean tackle, heads not in there, no controversy. It was just a great defensive play.
Affected the entire schedule in the wild card round. 4th down and 1. Going for it here, and that's going to write a finish to this one. Breida loses the ball on a 4th and 1, and the Vikings, if they come up with it, at least have some semblance of breath, and they do. Anthony Barr winds up.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down, Minnesota.
Anthony Barr, as Breida tries to spin out of this thing, is just going to strip that thing out. It is playoff football. You're going to see that all the time. This year, I think more than in the history of when I've been watching or playing football, it has become an art form getting that ball out, and it may well yet decide playoff games during this run.
So when you were playing back in the leather helmet era,
yes, sir,
were they teaching the guys to tackle, and instead of tackling the guy, tackle the ball?
Well, the old rule used to be first guy make the tackle, second guy and third guy go get the ball. Now there's a whole bunch of them going first guy, punch that thing out. I mean, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier would have been proud of some of the punch outs we've seen this year.
Credit a little bit to Peanut Tillman of the Bears, too.
Yeah, no question.
Who was one of the first to figure that out. So Cousins now at the 50-yard line. Fires, that'll be caught. And Thielen will pick up 16 yards on the first down to the 34-yard line. Tackled by Witherspoon.
The entire second defense that they could put in is in the game right now for the San Francisco 49ers.
From the 33.
Same result.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Wow.
Solomon Thomas and Anthony Zettel converge and combine on that takedown, and that's 5 sacks for San Francisco today.
And it's been the difference. It really has been. They have just been better. A little stunt inside. Going to go here and loop it back underneath, and it has been play after play, game after game, and really for Kirk Cousins, no chance in this one. Never established a run. Protection wasn't there. Just got beat by a better team. This is clearly a better football team in the San Francisco 49ers.
Minnesota taking its final timeout.
And now it's a pretty incredible feeling when you're over there and you have actually won a playoff game. And when you have that home field advantage, you think, I've only won one game and we're playing to go to the Super Bowl right here next week. It is amazing. It gives you chills when you're over there talking about it with your teammates.
Not leaving home. Cousins pressured again. That's a half dozen sacks. Bosa gets this one. The Ohio State rookie. Most Pro Bowl votes of any defensive player. He's not thinking about the Pro Bowl. He's thinking about the following week.
Yeah, and right now it has just been too much for these tackles of the Vikings on the edge, and Bosa has been fantastic. Maybe the player of the game.
3rd and 29. That's Abdullah to the 45. Clock under 40. Fourth and forever. Cousins throws, caught, catch made, but did he get the first down? That's Irv Smith to the 24-yard line. Had to get to the 23-yard line. And so that will clearly write a finish to it. It was 4th down and 22. Does he get there?
I don't think so. Jimmy Ward with a big shot again.
Catch, but short of the line to gain. The ball goes over on down.
Yep.
There's that feeling. There it is for Kyle Shanahan.
Well, he knows what it's like to go to a Super Bowl. He was the Atlanta offensive coordinator when they got there and then lost to New England in that stunning come from behind win. And Mike and Peggy Shanahan, their bouncing baby boy, is on his way to the NFC Championship game.
I saw Mike the other day, and I asked him, more nervous when you were coaching or now? He said, not even close. Way more nervous now.
Of course, Mike Shanahan knows a little bit about Super Bowls.
Yes, he does.
Winning 2 of them back-to-back with the Broncos and John Elway, and that writes a finish to this one. So a week from tomorrow, the 49ers host the Packers or the Seahawks for the NFC Championship and the right to go to Miami for the Super Bowl. For the Vikings, a good season ends after a wild card win in New Orleans, and now it's on to the 2020 campaign for Minnesota. For Cousins, a big win last week, but tonight just done in. They were done in by that defense. Couldn't get their running game going. 49ers had everything going. So, Garoppolo, first postseason start, first postseason win. And for Kirk Cousins, well, it's on to training camp and the 2020 season. Coming up next, Volkswagen Postgame Report after these messages from your NBC station.
He is